So now that our character has the ability to move around, let's start giving them some attack skills. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in some more images. So just drag and drop what you're using for your bullet in, and then go ahead and drag that into the hierarchy. Now what we're going to do is we want to create what's known as a prefab, which we've already reviewed, okay? And this time, rather than instantiating it for the purpose of a background like we did before, it's going to be instantiated as a projectile. And it's going to be shot in the direction your character is facing. Now if you recall, we already created a variable to detect what direction we're facing in. So we're going to just be able to recycle that. So having that in place is really going to make it easy to make the character fire in the right direction. So let's go ahead and add to our bullet object some physics 2D. So we need a rigid body, which allows for the application of velocity. Only thing you have to change is gravity scale, set it to 0. Next physics 2D is circle collider. It is, as the name would suggest, a collider, an object that detects collisions, and it's in the shape of a circle. With this you can edit the circle. So if you pull it over, you can see there's like a green circle surrounding it. So you can make the circle bigger or smaller depending how forgiving or unforgiving you want it to be. Alright, so we got our rigid body for velocity, we got our circle collider to detect collisions. Now we also need, we're going to have to add a script to give it velocity. So actually let's go ahead and do that right now. And we'll call it bullet control. And go ahead and we'll edit that. Now, since this is going to have velocity the moment it's instantiated, we're going to want to put this into the start section. And so what we're going to do is we're going to check if, and since it's a static variable, we're going to look at our variable. We have to identify it's the game master script, and it's the XY facing double equal sign. It's equal to 0. Then get component, rigid body 2D object, rigid body 2D component, and then the attribute of that component, which in this case is velocity. And what are we setting equal to? Since this is facing up, it's the y coordinate, the y value that has to be the non-zero. And then we'll just rinse and repeat for the other 3 directions. Actually, let's stop at just 2, just to test. We've got a couple more things to put into place too. So we'll come back and do the last 2 in a minute. So that basically creates our prefab. So let's take that and drag that into the prefab folder. So there it's now. We'll delete the original. We'll go to our GM object. And I'm just going to paste this in because this is a little bit of kind of just tedious typing, but we've already seen these type of variables. Alright, so here's what I just added. First, this. Public key code. We've already seen this a bunch of times. Skill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can call it whatever you want. I called it skill instead of attack because not every ability is going to be an attack. Next one, public transform. We've seen this already. This time it's going to be the bullet object that we just made. And this is a little bit different. Public vector 2, current center. What this is going to do is we're going to look at the location of the camera, and that is where the bullet is going to fire from, because if you recall, your character is fixed to the center of the camera. So if we know where the center of the camera is, then we know where the character is firing from. So let's go ahead and save this, and the variables should appear over here. So they are. And we're just going to use alpha 1 through 5. The bullet object is our prefab. We can leave current center as it is. Now what we have to do is we have to add one more line where we actually say, okay, what is current center? So current center. And it's going to do this in the update section, so every single frame this variable will be updated is equal to get component it's equal to overhead cam dot get component. So we're getting a component of the variable overhead cam, which is the main camera. And it's the camera. Actually, now we want transform, because it's the coordinates that we want. Dot position, and in this case we're only going to use a vector 2 because we want it to. Oh, I'm sorry, we already did the vector 2 at the top. Sorry, losing my mind. By saying vector 2 here. So it's saying, okay, let's store the x and y into that variable. What is that variable? It's the position of this, just the x and y. I think that should do it. Let's make sure that the bullet is on top, so let's give this... didn't click on it. So let's give this order in layer 5. So we create our prefab, we attached it to GM. Okay, so we didn't actually instantiate it yet, I don't think so. Void update. Yeah, we didn't actually check for that key press. So if input dot get key. Actually, let's get key up for the moment so it doesn't rapid fire. But we'll probably eventually have to put in a little code that allows for rapid fire, but not too fast. And if that key is pressed, then instantiate, and it is the bullet object, and it's being instantiated at that variable, which we called current center. object dot rotation. So use the rotation of the object and ignore the camera. So it doesn't like that. I don't know if it has to be, I think it has to be current center dot transform. There we go. So it didn't then transform, just current center. Alright, so moving around. I'm going to press 1 and it fired in the right direction. Press down, 1 and it fired in the right direction. Excellent. So quick review. This says look for a new key. Press. This detects that the key has been pressed. This instantiates our new object, which is right there. And it says use this as the location. And every single frame, that variable is updated with the position of the overhead cam object. And since you're actually moving the camera, that's the location that you want. So that should do it. Your character now has the ability to shoot. So now we just have to add in the remaining 2 directions and we're good to go. So let's just put the brackets here. Now we'll copy, don't want the top line, copy those 2, paste. So good. 0. So -90. This was -6. This was +90 and +6. There we go. Now that's probably too fast of a rapid fire. That will be the next thing we do, is controlling how fast you can fire.